Hello everyone, today I wanted to do a very quick and concise video on CRUD operations using SQLite and Python. Let's get started. So SQLite, where do you want to use it? It's a very lightweight database. It's very good for testing new things, new ideas. The development C language today is the most used database engine in the world, and it's a stable, cross-platform and backward compatible. And the best thing about it, if you have Python, you really don't need to do anything else. Python already ships with SQL library, and you can just use that. If you don't want to use that, you can, if you're Linux, you can install apt install SQLite 3. You can go to the SQLite website, like right there, and get more information how to install it if you're using a Windows or a Mac system. Now, what we'll try to do, we'll try to create some files and go through it with you, and we'll go over some of the stuff in like a theory over here in the slide. So to create a database is very simple. All you need is import SQL3, and then once you have that, you just create a connection. Okay, once the connection is there, you can start creating, you can create the database, and you can start creating tables and insert data and everything else. So let's go to our command window and let's do something. So I was working and tested all the code in here. Okay, so let's do this. Go back and create a folder SQLite UI running test. Okay, so this is where I'm going to put my code. So SQLite UI running test. Here I'm going to put all of my code and stuff. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with this connection DB, and I'm going to save this file inside my running test because there's nothing else is here. Okay, so let's go there, go back and do a ls on it. Let's clear this page and do a ls. So you see there is no database in here. There's only the connect.db py, the file that I just copied is there. So let's review this file just a little. Okay, so in this file, what I'm creating, I'm importing the database module. I'm just writing import SQL3, and as I said, I made a connection. So I'm creating a connection to a database, and this, if the database is already there, it will connect to this database file. If it's not there, it's going to create it. So right now there is nothing in there. So if I run this file, this database will be created. Now to talk to the database, I'll be using a cursor, and I'll get that by doing conn.cursor. If you don't want to create a database and you just want to do something and then just get rid of the database automatically, you can use this command here, conn SQLite3.connect to memory. So it will create an in-memory database that you can use. But for our exercise, we'll just use a persistent database that you can save the file and reopen it a later time. So what we will do, we'll run this command, create a table, to create a table in the database that we have just created. So once we have the cursor, and for the most command that we are running, we're going to use the cursor.execute, and here we are using create, and later we'll be using update, delete, insert, all types of stuff in here. Let's see what we are doing here. We are creating a table, customers. In that table, in the database, where we have 4 fields: ID, first name, last name, and the email. The ID has a data type of integer. We are making this a primary key, and we are setting it to auto increment. Then we are also using first name, data type text, cannot be null, and last name, text, cannot be null. And we are also using email, which is a text field, and this one can be null. Okay, so once all of that done, all you need to do is commit this change, and you close the database connection. So let's just do that. So if I do Python So this definitely should create a database. So it should do a ls on it. So you see this database is now created, and this database better have a table. So if I do SQLite 3 and then tutorials DBs, and then I do database, and it's telling me that I have this database available to me, and if I do dot table, and it's telling me I have a customer table available. And let's look at select star from customers. Okay, see, there is no data, so it's an empty table that I have available under my database, which is the tutorial customer.db. So these are SQL commands that I'm using. Just quickly check what we have, but we'll do all these things using Python. So let's go back. So let's do Control D here, Control D. So back to my command line. So at this point, just a quick recap, you have imported the SQLite, you have seen that there is no installation required, nothing like that. You created a database and you created a connection. With the connection, you created a table, and we're going to use the table to learn more about the CRUD. So inserting your data, updating your data, deleting your data, and then we'll see how to select different data types using where statement, stuff like that. So let's go to here, insert db.py. Let's copy that file back to our folder. So let's save as, let's go back to running test folder and let's save it. Okay, and then let's review this file. In this file, what we have, so connection db, let's get rid of this. We are done with that file. So here, what we want to do, we're going to insert some data into the table that we have. Okay, so here I have 3 records where I'm just going to insert it one after another, just with using the cursor.execute command. And if you look at the syntax, it's a simple SQL statement. I'm using insert into customers, that's the table name. Then I'm specifying the particular columns that I want to insert: first name, last name, and email. And the values that I'm providing, they're conn, Basu, my email. Okay, same thing in the next one, and the same thing in the third one as well. Now you may say, if we have hundreds of data, how do I populate my table? Now there are many ways to do it. This is just one way. A lot of times you get data from maybe say text file, maybe some other places, maybe in a JSON format, but a lot of times you can convert the data as a list. In this one, I'm using a big list in here. Okay, and in this list I have tuples where I have the first name, last name, and the email. And notice that I don't have the ID field in anywhere available here, because I set the ID field as auto increment. So whenever I'm going to insert data, it will the SQLite will automatically increment and add the ID, your primary ID for me in the table. So here I have a bunch of random names that we can now here you can use a loop if you like in the loop you pass all the parameters, but SQLite this comes with this execute many method already built in. That's very useful. And this one, what you do, you pass that insert into customer first name, last name, and email. Those are the 3 fields that you want to populate. And then values, you put questions mark in there and just pass the whole list as an argument right here. So that's all you need to insert all these records using only one statement to insert in the database. So once all of that is done, you can commit the database. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna print so then you commit this, so everything is there in your database. And then here the other way, you can select and look at data. Like a little bit ago we were doing select using the SQL command line. Now here using Python you can do the same thing within your code. You can do cursor.execute and select star everything from customers, and then you can print cursor.fetchall. So the cursor fetchall command will give you everything that that's there in the table, and you can print the row, it will print everything, or you can print whatever you like. If I only care about the first name, last name, and email, I can do this. Okay, and you just just run this command. Now let's see if I'm missing anything in here. I think I have pretty much what I wanted. So far, let's run this file, and then we'll talk more. Okay, so Python, this is the insert db. So let's run this. So let's look at what happens. So first of all, we don't have any error messages. So once I run this command, so first three fields, so these three, okay, they are added using my single insert statements, and from 4 to 17, all those got inserted using my from the list. Now what you note is since I'm printing both whole row and only 3 items, like here I'm printing the whole row, every full record, and 3 portions of the record. So here you see it's printing the ID plus my first name, last name, and email. Here, since I'm not printing row 0, it's giving me first name, last name, and my email address. Okay, so that's all you need to know for this. So far you have learned how to import the SQLite, how to create and connect to a database, how to create the cursor, how to create the table in my previous file, and now how to insert all the data, and how to kind of look at the data and see, you know, if your insert statement has worked properly. Okay, so once we have done that, so let's do some more more advanced select statement and just play with the data a little bit more. Okay, so let's get rid of this insert db file, and again this file I'm going to save it back to our running folder, and then we'll talk about it. Alright, it's saved now. So again, you start with the connection, you have everything available. So as I said, you can do cursor select star from customers, and that will give you all the data from that particular table. If you want only one data, then you can use a cursor.fetchall. That way cursor is only fetching one data, only the first data that it can get to. You can get the top 5 data, that will, you can specify cursor.fetch many and then 5. I'm going to use the fetch all right here, and it's the same thing that we already had in the previous exercise. I'm just going to print only one, print these 3 columns for us now. Now there's another way you can limit what you're getting back. So you can use the fetch many. Here you can provide 2, that will limit the data only to 2, or you can use the SQL statement. Okay, so you can do cursor.execute select from customers, and you can specify, say, limit 2. So that will limit your data and give you only the 2 rows for you. So if we want to do that, so let's comment this file, this line, and uncomment this one. So when this runs, you should only see top 2 rows records from the table. Alright, so now this is, you can also use where clause, and again these are all mainly SQL type. I'm just giving you so that you know how to use it. And let's make that where capital, and make this where capital as well. So you can use where, like here I'm saying cursor execute select from customers where last name is Basu. Okay, and then I'm saying just go fetch everything, print everything wherever this query is matched. And the next one, I'm saying, hey, go and find all the customers where email is like Gmail. And this is a very useful command, and you should know that a lot of times we use the like command, and you can use pretty much percent and then whatever you want to match in your column, and then end it with another person, and it will give you, select all those, it will match, like is like a match. Now if you want to order your results, you can use select whatever Gmail and order by. You can, if you don't use descending, it will be ascending. Ascending is the default. You can also use it descending to order it as per your need. And here I'm just ordering by name. You can order by anything you like in that column. By default it will order by ID. What else? Here conditionals, you can also add conditionals, like you can select all the customers where email like Gmail and ID has to be greater than 5, and then you can also still use order by, which is first name, and I'm using descending here. Let's not use it, just order by first name. Okay, and here again, after every single command, I'm just executing each rows. So that is a pretty standard. So all you need to know to manipulate and select your data, you can pretty much use the cursor.execute method, and you can pretty much pass a raw SQL statement to that method to look at the data. So let's go and run this file, which is selectdb.py, and see what happens. So let's clear this and run selectdb.py. Alright, so there is a problem in some place. So let's select the word no such table customers. So probably, do we have a delete statement that deleted the file, or drop statement? Let's look at so I have a drop table customers in here, so that dropped the table. So okay, so that's another thing I haven't talked. So if you want to drop a table, you can also run this file, and this file will drop the table that you have, and your table will be gone. So be very careful, like what I just did. You should not be doing it in a production environment. Be very, very cautious. So let's do this. Let's start with the ConnectDB, and again run our insert DB, and then run our select DB now, and this time we have pretty much everything ran pretty well except for one. Got line 36, we got some kind of syntax error. So let's look at it real quick. So from select from customers limit to, so this gave us some trouble, so I'm not going to use it for now. You just have to play with this limit command and see if this is working properly for you or not. Okay. And run it one more time. So let's look at the output that we have from the select data. So first select data that we have, so output that I have. So if I look at it, the select data, select data. So here I'm selecting everything from the customer table. So this is all the data that I have. So it's just printed everything. In the next one, I'm limiting some of the data. Actually, in this one, I really didn't limit everything. So what it's giving you is printing both the row and the full and the first name, last name, and your email. So it's giving you the row. If I don't, and in the next row, it's printing the record but without your ID. So that's what it is. Using a where clause. Let's go to the next one. Using a where clause here. Where clause here. I said get me all the records where the last name is Basu. So let's see if that works. Basu. Let's see. Where is using a where clause? Using a where clause. select data, limiting data, using our class. Okay. All right, then I said find everything where the emails are like Gmail. So what I did, so first it printed, this is the record that it printed where it matched my last name to Basu. Okay. And then because it's printed everything, cursor.fetchall. And in the next one I'm saying, hey, print everything where the email is Gmail, and these are all people in our record where they share the Gmail account. So it's printed 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 records. Okay, let's see if I have anything. Order by, next I have order by. On this order by, I'm pretty sure I'm using descending, and I'm still using the Gmail. So see that here you started with the alphabetical ordering, and here the ordering is reversed. Okay, and conditional in this, the last one, where I said, hey, give me the one where everybody has the Gmail user account or email ID, but ID has to be greater than 5. So that gave me a shorter list of records back to me. Okay, so we are good up to this point. So far you have learned how to import a database, how to create or connect to a database, how to create the database table, how to insert data. And here in this file we kind of played with the data and went over different type of select statement to limit the data, to use conditionals, use where statements and all that stuff. Okay, next let's see delete DB, how to delete this data. Okay, so let's go back and do a ls on it, and also I want to do a ls on SQLite Python, and I want to make sure that I'm covering all. We have gone through this one, insert DB, select DB, and update DB we have not. So let's look at the update DB next. Okay, so let's open the file update DB and save this one in our running folder. Okay, and let's look at what we have, and let's get rid of the select DB from here. So in this one it's pretty simple. Again, we're gonna use the same stuff. We're gonna use the cursor.execute, and here we're gonna update our table. So the command is like that, update customer, and for update command you need a set for the column name. So set first name, and I want to update the first name to updated unconn. And here where clause is very, very important. You want to make sure that you exactly know what you want to update. Here I'm saying, hey, go find the record where the ID is 1 and set the first name as updated unconn in that one. Okay, and once we do that, I'm just gonna find that particular ID where ID is 1, and once I find that ID, I'm just gonna print that ID, print that record, just to make sure that my update command is actually working. Okay, so let's go here and run our update command, or update db.py, and as you can see, this is now that first name what used to be unconn Basu. Okay, now it's the first name is updated unconn, last name is still Basu, and email has not changed. So far we have covered creating a table, connecting to the table, inserting records, selecting different records using where clause, conditionals, and now you know how to update a particular record. So things that remaining is the delete. How do you delete a record? So that will complete your CRUD operation. So let's go back to running test and save this delete.py file as well, and just review this file. And again, in this one, what we will do, we will say let's delete the file. Say the update, you still made a mistake on that one, so you want to delete that record now. So we'll get to the cursor execute, and again it's a standard SQL statement, delete from customers where id equals to 1. You want to delete that record. Okay, once you do that, you're gonna print everything again and just verify that record 1 is not there, and that should be pretty simple. So go back in here and just run the delete.py, and here we printed everything, and if I go back to the very top, you see that the ID1 is now gone. There is no Basu unconn available in your record. So I think that's all I wanted to show in this presentation. Let's go back to the presentation and kind of go over, make sure I have given you everything. So creating table, we talked about it. Inserting data, we talked about it as well. Insert into customers, and whatever table you have, you specify the column names, and then values, you specify the values that you want. Multiple records, we talked about it using our list. Selecting data, we have gone over, and we have seen many different ways to select the data. And then where clause, we have went over multiple different where clause. Ordering data, we talked about how you can use the order by and the column name, and then if you want you can use the descending if you like. Conditionals we use with the where statement. You can use and even or to to select your data or refine your selection. We've gone over the update statements, where you just update a particular table, you set the updated value, and you use a where field to select the record where you want to make the change. Delete is also pretty simple. We delete from customers, and you just specify what you want to delete. Just be very careful with these commands, and that's completes your CRUD operations using Python. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I'm going to give all those commands and this PowerPoint presentation in a GitHub, and you will have my GitHub link to this code and the GitHub files in the YouTube description. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Bye bye.